countries and people in countries of their rights, and also it drains countries of their economy. It misplaces the economy, and it creates problem for people in the country, deprive them of their rights. And I think if Africans fight corruption and they see that their economies are managed properly, there'll be a lot of peace because it will bless a lot more people.
Again, I'm still here on the project, building capacity around my mouth, but I got something to back it up. What do you think? Let's discuss it.
Corruption is a cancer, is a disease that deprives countries and people in countries of their rights, and also it drains countries of their economy. It misplaces the economy, and it creates problem for people in the country, deprive them of their rights. And I think if Africans fight corruption and they see that their economies are managed properly, there'll be a lot of peace because it will bless a lot more people.
L'Amérique n'a pas loupé nous. Quand il y a Sylvie, il a quoi qui j'ai loupé prince. L'Amérique n'a pas loupé. T'as bien de moi avec moi nous deux. En somme, on va battre au moins néo. Mon temps dit t'as mon mouillé. Ça va bien faire moi dit toi. Tu là le caillou. Quand on soit du là. Allez. Envoyez. Battu au loin. Abela loke yo. Bivito jogbai. Bivito noba. Martis mo pe yo. Manager Gigi. Ouais, pe jamais forcé ou. Si tu connais. L'animateur Choco Noska Yassin de Toyebi. L'homme a tout fait pour Mivito. Anitie les deux.
Corruption is a cancer, is a disease that deprives countries and people in countries of their rights, and also it drains countries of their economy. It misplaces the economy, and it creates problem for people in the country, deprive them of their rights. And I think if Africans fight corruption and they see that their economies are managed properly, there'll be a lot of peace because it will bless a lot more people.
Good evening, folks. Samson to Liberia Public Radio. We're here again this evening. We want to thank all of you. Thank you for sharing the video. We appreciate it. Please share as much as you can. We're here to have some discussion about Liberia and all things Liberia. Safety, Lord Jesus, we want to thank you again this evening for this wonderful life that you give us. We want to thank you, my Lord, for being able to help us to sustain this life. Thank you, my Lord. Thank you for everything. We are not embarrassed. We are not ashamed. We will proclaim whatever possibility exists and whatever opportunity is there, we will claim you as our Father publicly. We say thank you. Thank you, my Lord. Thank you for everything. Thank you for the blessing. Thank you. Thank you for the protection. Thank you. Thank you for everything, my Lord. Just thank you. Just thank you. We wake up every day, we say thank you. We go to sleep and wake up again, we say thank you. We walk, we say thank you. We eat, we say thank you. Everything we do, the breath we take in, we say thank you. Thank you, my Lord. Again, we're coming here again tonight to have a discussion about our country. We ask, my Lord, that you continue to guide the thought process that go through into this. We ask you, my Lord, that you continue to come in and take complete control. But Lord, the brothers and sisters that are not of a happy status tonight, we ask that you take complete control of that. My Lord, we ask you that whatever it is, please bring joy into the life of brothers and sisters that are going through some problem tonight. We want to thank you for that. We want to ask that you bless the Republic of Liberia. Bless the people of the Republic of Liberia. Bless the leadership of the Republic of Liberia. Give them wisdom to do what is good for our people. My Lord, we ask that you bless the host country, the United States of America. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Okay, so I see some of the panelists are showing up here. Let me just do my little monologue, and then we will bring that in as they appear. So tonight program, they'll come in, the panelists themselves, they will come in and suggest what topic they want to discuss. So my topic tonight is the war crime, the signing of the War and Economic Crime Court. I thought it was very important. I also want to announce to you that we were able to talk to the Deputy Minister of Public Works for Technical Affairs, senior engineer, Prince Tamba. We spoke with him lengthily, and he didn't take kind, even though he's just like a little brother to me, but he didn't take kind of the criticism that were levied against his government. These people, even though they are our own brothers, but when you come to the government, they have no relationship, no friendship. So he gave us some lengthy explanation. And so we thought that we will not do that tonight. We will reschedule, and hopefully in fact, starting Monday, he's going on a county tour to inspect and assess some of the processes that are involved, and to assess any other need issues in terms of the role. But his explanation, which definitely makes sense. Now, Prince Tamba is a very smart young man. I know that for a fact. So what he did, and let me bring in Jerry, and then I will continue on my tabata. So what senior engineer Prince, he's also a professor, by the way. What he did was he's charged to do this role. So I told him that I would the Liberia Public Radio would do a whole show on the 100 days, which I still believe is going to be around. Today is the 100 days. The second is the 100 day. But who cares? We'll take it out some more. But what he stated, he removed the engineering aspect of this role rehabilitation process and brought in the financial aspect. Because Prince Tamba is also a financial person when it comes to the engineering business. So he's very good at it. So what he told me was, Mr. Tor, why you guys are focusing on the engineering principle, which we all agree and needed to be done, we're doing it. But the main thing is, we wanted our people to be able to drive from point A to point B. So whatever it takes, we will do that. Now, you also know, he said, that the role, we already have contractors that are already in the process of rehabilitating those roads anyway. So they will come back later and apply all of the engineering principles that many of you are crying for. So when he said that, I said, okay, this young man is getting ready to take me to the clinic. He's too smart for me. So what I did was I said, okay, engineer Tamba, senior engineer Tamba, thank you. But what I want to do is to reschedule. So he's not going to be on video. Most likely he will be on audio, because I will call him when he come back from the country tour next week. I will contact him, and then we will have that conversation. But in the meantime, from time to time, I will talk about these road issues. But tonight, it's about the signing of the War Crime Court, War and Economic Crime Court that President Baka signed into an executive order today. I believe it's executive order 131, I believe. But we'll go into that. Panelist Jerry, I can thank you for joining us, sir. We appreciate it. And can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Okay. Thank you very much. We say thank you for joining again. Yesterday we couldn't come on, or not me, but you know who couldn't come on, and because he has some serious meeting that took a lot of the time. So by the time he got ready, it was impossible to come on. You know who I'm talking about. The other person we can't call. You know who. But anyhow, so Jerry, thank you for joining us tonight. What's on besides my war crime, the signing of the War Economic Crime Code by President Bakaway? He made a very lengthy 6-minute speech, something that we were unable to get from President Weah. Everything President Weah does, everything that happens in his government, you have to wait until Sunday to get any kinds of respond or any information from him. But President Baka, on the other hand, as good as he is, and as intellectual president as he is, he always gives the Liberian people information immediately. He doesn't wait until Sunday to go on a puppet and say, God say. No, God say for Sunday. But President Baka will always inform the Liberian people of what is happening in the country, Jerry. So what's on your plate this evening, sir?
Well, thank you for having me. Thanks for the radio listener out there. We're happy to be back. Couple of things. I listened to Mr. Buckeye, His Excellency, 100-day speech, and I took some notes. Look, Buckeye is good. He's a digger in the church.
Yeah.
So he tried to separate the church and the state. Okay? Which, of course, he's been doing. He's a digger in that church for so many years. But here's the important thing. Now, Executive 131, now they left for the legislature now to allocate money to establish the War Crime Court, the War and Economic Crime Court. It's no more.
Let me bring in Sissy as well. Sissy, go ahead, just join us. Go ahead.
It's no more the president holding back.
Sissy, thank you for joining us.
The president is holding back. So now, it's the legislature now, where the War Crime Court will be built, how much it's going to cost, who are the prosecutor, who are the investigator, who are the security, all this thing. It's in the hands of the legislature to come up with the money, or the executive to send the budget to the first thing that I'm still thinking about is who are going to be the judges, whether they're going to be international judges or they're going to be local or domestic judges. So whether it would be a mix.
I want to say tea, some kind of South African here this evening.
But look, so I will stop there for now. But these are things. Look, okay, let me just do this, the introduction part. If you listen to Mr. Buckeye's speech the other day with 100 days, where he articulated what all have been done, what need to be done. He talked about the digital program that will be centralized in Liberia. Everybody in Liberia will be able to get a digital program. He talked about corruption. He talked about infrastructure. He talked about RI8 upgraded, RI will be upgraded. He talked about the position of action taking. He talked about the trust of the legislature. He talked about the development quarterly report. So these are things that Mr. Bucker want to do. So I will pause there for now. I know we just started.
Thank you. So, what's on your plate this evening, sir?
Hey, how you doing, my brother Jerry? And, you see, I'm drinking tea today. My boy, I don't drink a tea cold. What kind of baby?
The kind of baby.
I've been drinking tea cold.
Yeah, what kind of baby? What kind of baby?
What? Look. People were saying
you just mentioned, say, just give me 1 second here. You just mentioned something, and this other person that I don't like to call on the platform here because he run the other platform. You know that I think that when we have a conversation, and I try to defend some of the things that he said, but Baka that baby, that the thing that he can be saying every time when you try to defend Baka, he said, but wait now, Baka that baby, Baka that baby. So Baka can defend himself. But go ahead, say. Go ahead, please.
Look, folks who don't understand governance or political system, not the court system we have in Liberia we call politics, they expect that a president we keep talking about the same thing over and over and come here and say, oh, today we talked to 3 people about walk around code. Tomorrow we got 4 more people lined up. That is not how you do stuff. You announce it, let it work happen, let it come to fruition. Sign that today. Folks were thinking, remember before the campaign, during the campaign, folks said that Prince Johnson would be a de facto president and that Joseph Boakai would be nowhere. Prince Johnson complained they black his number. They say, oh, Boakai cannot bring walk around school because Prince Johnson will be there. Jamal Kune will go against it. Today is there. There were bogus concession deals signed, and Boakai was sitting at the top of it. What happened to Western Cluster? What Boakai doing? He met with their council and told them they are out. If they will operate, they will have to build a railroad to transport their materials, which, by the way, was in the initial agreement. That some senators flew to India to go and change.
Yeah. Overnight.
So for me, 100 days deliverable. These two things just made people get quiet about all the cha-cha-cha about 100 days deliverable. And I like that the president said that there are more and more critical action plan blueprints being presented by all of these ministries, including the Ministry of Education, which is my heart. So for me, I'm drinking my tea cold, like Omer Boakai like to drink a tea cold. You can talk plenty. They might be sleeping, but it does more work than people who are awake, lying, continue to sleep, and continue to sign war crimes bill.
I think, thank you, Sissy. I think President Boakai is one of those of us that grew up on the Chinese kung fu movie in the 70s.
I was trying to avoid that kung fu thing. You not bring kung fu in there again. You know the video I'm talking about.
That's the point that let we are thinking he's some kung fu expert. Let him go to the 80-year-old man. You know, President Boakai is a type of person, from what all indication, he's not like that, I don't call it peacock. When he goes, then he may say B. President Boakai is not like that. Yeah. Buka, the President Boakai. Oh, yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. Let me bring in Terry right away. Thank you for bringing that up. President Boakai is not a Buka dancer.
I told somebody who said that to my inbox. They said, the man practicing Kung Fu. I said, more than confused.
Yeah. What kind of fighting you and man would do? Hey, you think a real fighting, the feeling kicking you ball, you were no straight. No, but on a very serious note, President Boakai, what I really admire of this, and I never really understood that until quite recently, that he doesn't like to talk. In fact, he made a statement criticizing all of us. Whether we are his supporter, and he said, let the people talk on our Facebook. We will continue to do our work. He made that statement. And so when he said there was a statement attributed to him by Bernard Ure that he would dance with the devil, and every one of us, including myself, the war crime code is done. Because war crime code is always single-handedly on the head of Prince Johnson. All of the people that are involved in it, nobody knows them but Prince Johnson. So when he said he was dancing, he said this thing is done. But just from all of this thing that he's doing right now, you saw how angry, what's his name? The senator from Birmingham, Snow. You saw how angry he was the last time with the appearance of Alan White. Instead of being angry, I'm sure that anger was targeted towards President Boakai. But he has no way of tying President Boakai to that, because President Boakai campaigned on that. And he carried out his campaign promises. So I'm very happy I have the video here, but I will play it later. Let's welcome Terry. Terry, thank you very much. We're talking about the signing of the war crime code tonight by President Boakai, which I thought was very interesting. What do you have any other something on your plate other than that? If so, whatever is on your mind you want to talk about, go ahead.
Well, good evening to all of you guys, Sissy, my senior brother, and Mr. Bacon, and to you, Libra, and all our guests that are watching us tonight. Yeah, so that is a very good talking point. The signing of that thing, the executive order. I thought that was a fruitful position by President Boca, and yeah, it's something to be discussed about, something to talk about.
Thank you. So let me go back to Jerry. The video it's about 6 minutes long, which I'm not going to play all of that. I'll just play a little bit at a time. But in the video, the president, I believe it was at the House of Representatives where he made that video, but he was able to thank the House of Representatives. And the interesting thing for me is that many of the people that are in the lawmaking business, whether it be Senate or something, one way or the other, just like any one of us, they're connected to the war and economic crime court. They all should and will be, hopefully, interviewed. But to say thank you for bringing this up as though he's excusing them. And I saw somebody wrote on one of the platforms to say, oh, by telling these people thank you, they're going to feel now that they are not part of the process. They're going to think, say, nobody's going to talk to them. And if the senators and then the representatives, if they can think that, then let them look at the action of the president so far. Anyone who is responsible will be called. And anyone who participated in this process will also be called, I think. But Jared, let me come to you. Let me come to you on this one here. The president, in his video speech, said that Liberians have endured a lot, and that it is about time that Liberians get some sort of a reprieve in terms of having people to explain themselves what this whole thing is about. He called it senseless war, and I call that senseless war as well. But what do you think of President Baka making that kind of statement and not waiting until Sunday to speak, just like CDC putting their foot in their mouth?
Well,
what do you make of that statement?
Look, I've been saying it from the time that John is the institution, Mr. Buckeye, or principal. And I said it, and I will say it again. Mr. Buckeye will surprise most of us because I know the man for almost 2 decades. I worked with him, and I started with him for so many issues. What he passionate about our country. Look, Mr. Buckeye is not in office because he want to enrich himself, but he cared for the country. That's why he said, think Liberia, love Liberia, and build Liberia. He thanked the legislature because they are not the adjective, but they have to approve of it. They have to give him not a blueprint, but the legislature who are responsible to pass the bill and send it back to the president's office. So it was a catcher on his part to say, thank you. But now, from my belief, the work just beginning. For all senators, if you watch the signing ceremony, he gave the pen to the pro tem, right? Newly Kanga, senator. And I think he gave one of the pens, we got a 5 pen he used. He gave one to the speaker, and I think he kept the 5 pens.
One to the state, state of what they got name?
Okay, somebody. Okay.
Yeah. So
look, he's somebody who believes in central building. And people think that he wins.
Minister of State for Presidential Affairs.
Yeah. So he believes in central building. That's why he went there and said, look, member of the judiciary, member of the Senate, who all were present. There are a lot of government officials present today. I watch it. And he believes in a constitution of the people. That's why I always say he was well elected by the people of the Republic of Liberia. So more year to come. So it's not surprising. It would not be surprising to me. More to come. But as we go in deep, I'll go in deep to his speech, your 100-day speech, and these are things that he had planned to do, and I will go into it.
Thank you. Let me go to Sissy, and let's pivot a little bit to the House of Representatives. Sissy, Flanty Kofa, Honorable Flanty Kofa, is the Speaker, and he was one of those who even immediately jump on this thing here with all of his weight and whatever you want to call it. Do you think that he will provide funding, whatever funding that is required? You think he will be able to persuade his people to provide that funding for this process?
So I think those are two different questions. The first piece is, look, I'm reminded by a famous quote that says, I am not frightened by a pride of lions. That's a group of lions led by a sheep. I am more frightened by a flock of sheep led by a lion, because the followers usually take on the persona of their leader. A flock of sheep led by a lion will fight like a lion. A pride of lion led by a sheep will fight like sheep. What am I saying? Honorable Fonati Kofa has been in the House for a while. He was Deputy Speaker. I was not one of his fans when he was running to be a Speaker. He's winning me over, because now the leadership in Joseph Boakai is getting a lot of people to take on their persona. We're not going to be arguing. We're not going to be threatening people. We're not going to go to Unity Party headquarters to give policy speeches. We're going to do the people work. And if you remember on this platform, I was one of those that said that they needed to divorce the War Economics Crime Code from the War Crimes Code, because there were people currently in the legislature that would not want to vote for an economics crime code. I lost on that argument because it shows that Fonati Kofa has the ability and the wherewithal and the capacity to make deals and cajole people to bring them to the table and make things happen. Similarly with Madam Yombri Kanga Lawrence in the Senate. There are a lot of people who returned to the legislature who were there under the CDC but could not pass such a monumental bill. And if you look at the funding, did you read the comment by the Shashi affair today of the U.S. Embassy in Liberia? I'm excited. Funding Liberia is not going to have to worry about that. There's going to be international partners that are going to bring that. But to the extent that Liberia needs to have a share, a skin in their game, I guarantee you, based on what I've seen from the way Fonati Kofa has been able to shift the way the legislature works, to making sure that he's getting people on board and passing this. This is not a baby game. This War Economics Crime Code is not an easy lift. To have such a massive lift in less than 130 days for the legislature, hats off to Fonati Kofa and Madam Yombri Kanga Lawrence. I do truly believe that these are lions that have been leading sheep, and these sheep are now taking on the persona of the leadership in the Liberian House, in the Liberian Senate, and at the Executive Mansion.
Thank you. Let's go to Terry. Terry, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, just a minute. Let me straighten something out here quick. I think I'm having some echo, and I think it's have to do from my ear to be from my end. Just give me a minute here. But my question to you, Terry, will be wrapped into something. Hello?
Okay,
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. All right. I don't know why I'm getting echo.
It's from your side because we're not hearing it.
I think it is. Okay. Well, it's not. I'm not going to disturb it. But the question that I have for you, Terry, is this. During the campaign, we saw Honorable President Baka, and I was one of those who were out here screaming and yelling how unsincere they were, how deplorable they were about the CPP. My thing was, if you have CPP together, and you have Cummings and Baka and everybody working together, There was no way CDC not only was not going to be able to defeat us, but if we go to the House of Representatives and Senate, we will control everything. And President Barker was just very nonchalant about it. But now looking at the process, I now try to say, who think about CPP? Man, forget CPP, man. That's a, because what I wanted out of the CPP is being achieved.
You're gonna bring Emma George to that.
They're not coming that tomorrow. They were sure. Let me enjoy myself. They're not coming. But the CPP, I said, forget CPP. Because everything that I thought CPP would have been able to achieve under President Barker, it's not being achieved. Now, the question to you, Terry, with President Barker's ability, as Cece correctly stated, to lead, and now it seemed like, and I hope I be careful here, it seemed like that the like of Flanti Kofa, who is CDC, and the like of my own sister, Lawrence, who is Liberty Party, it seemed to me that they're probably thinking that they are Unity Party C. But do you think President Barker will achieve more than what he's being exhibited right now? The fact that he has this much allies on his side.
Yeah, I think President Barker is using wisdom, all right, to shift the responsibility from him to the House, and then sit back and allow the Liberian people to watch and see what they do. And I think that is a very good strategy. So nobody will now begin to blame him. So yeah, I think that President Barker may not get everything he wants to be done, but in the final analysis, the blame will be on the House if they fail in getting certain things done that supposed to be in the interest of the Liberian people. Like, for example, the budget. This gone budget stalled, and the Liberian people will blame the House for the stalling of the budget. And President Barker was very smart. If there was other leadership, like Madam Shirley or President Weah, they would have been very, very meticulous or hurrying to get the budget to pass. So they would go into the House and lobby and send money around quickly to get the budget to pass quickly. But President Barker, knowing very well with wisdom that if he does that, it will backfire and people will say all kind of things. And if the House continue to stall the budget, the Liberian people will blame them. So he sat back and watched them. And that, I think, was wisdom. Because in the final analysis, if his government starts to stall and certain things are not done properly, he will come back and tell Liberian people, say, but we pass the budget. The House people say they not agree with it because 53 million in our budget was deducted from the money. So they not agree with it. That's why the budget can pass. You see the wisdom there? So I think he's ruling with wisdom, carefully. And that is what I'm watching to see. Because I want to see a leader that is able to make decisions not by pressure from the media, not by pressure from Stand on Waterspoon radio station, but he will be able to take the bull by the horn the way he wants to do it. Not because Terry said he should do it. Not because Terry is putting pressure on him, but because he knows that this is what he wants to do. And if he does that, it will change the trajectory of the country. Then that is why I call a leader. A leader must be his own person. Yeah, so I think it will be binding upon the House to work alongside with President Barker, because if they do fail, it will be blame on them. The Liberian people will blame them because he would then shift the blame on them instead of allowing the blame to fall on himself. And I think that's the path he's trading.
Thank you. Let's go to Jerry again, and I'll be going around the room here, please. Jerry, and this is just my own perception and from my own perspective as well, or my own objective or subjective, whatever way you want to say it. You know, yeah, I will soak them tonight.
I
tell you,
They're scared to come on. They're scared to come on. objective, subjective. It doesn't count on that here, that on here LPR, he practicing his PhD. Let him come. I'm waiting for him. No, but on a very serious note, Jerry. The president, it seemed to me that the president, and I could be wrong, but this signing of the war and economic crime court, the signing of the process itself, I don't think it was done in isolation. I don't think it was done by mistake. I want to say here, and I could be wrong, that perhaps he did this to cover up many of the failures from these young people that he brought on board, that perhaps would have been able, who said they were going to do so many things in 100 days, and 100 days is not up to par, so to speak, from my perspective. And so by signing this war and economic crime court, you don't have people talking about 100 days as much as they talk about the war crime court. The question to you, Jerry, if what I'm saying, if it holds true, does he have more of these type of cover up, not cover up in terms of bad deal, but to mask what is happening? Does he have more of those in his trick or bag? Because many of these young people might find it difficult to try to produce. There are those, like Sister would say, there are those among them, like the education ministry, they are very serious and they want to showcase their work. But because of the inept, some of the people that are so inept in this, they are dragging the rest of the group down. And President Bakar sensibly and smartly decided to do this here so that to say, don't look over there, look over here. You think there's much more in this bag of his trick to be able to pull this out another time, or Liberians will be wise to this at the next time?
Let me come to Terry a little bit. I will extend on what Terry said, and then I'll come to your question. Mr. Buckeye got more in here arsenal. Let's be realistic. You see, in politics, it's always good to be offense than to be a defense. Because see, when you're in defense, you cover a lot. But you got to go all the way to the goal before you come back again. At that time, you run out of breath. So Mr. Buckeye is on the offense. And the second thing, Mr. Buckeye listening to the Liberian people. That's what they wanted. They asked him during the election. Walk around code, he lived up to his promise. He said, when I become president, or when I'm a president, I make sure the walk around economic crime code will establish in Liberia. That's the mandate of the Liberian people. Let me say this to you first. You see, in ever to get politics, these are three different political leaders. The speaker, sedition. Nyumli Kanga from Grand Bassa, Liberty Party. Mr. Buckeye, Unity Party. So what he had done in the Senate and the House of Representatives, he had built a coalition. My brother or sister led to it. He had built a coalition in the House and the Senate to put two parties together and say, look, we have to do this in the interest of the Liberian people. This is what the Liberian people are elected us to do. Let me conclude with this. The Senate and the Representative, they are learning a lesson. Let's look at the current general election. Because it's a mandate. Like my brother Terry said, he put them on offense. Because if they didn't go by the president's agenda, most of them will not come back. We're going to have a midterm election. Think about it that way. Because midterm election, that's what determines the 2029 election or 2029 election. Look what happened in the current election. Most of them didn't come back. So it is a lesson learned from them. Like my brother Terry said, it's a lesson learned from them. So if Mr. Buckeye, the president, said his agenda, most of them will have a second thought. Because if you don't do that, you have an explanation to do in your constituent. So they are learning a lesson. And most of them let's watch and see. Thank you.
Let's see. Thank you. Sissy? Oh, It look at my mic is.
So
Sissy, can you hear me?
We are hearing you very clear.
You are clear.
Okay, so Sissy, I will come and fix this here. But let me ask you this. I know you're most likely not on board with my Tabata analysis here, but that's okay. That's my opinion. But let me ask you this, Sissy. How long you think, if everything we're saying here that President Barker has an ally with the opposition lawmakers, how long before these lawmakers hear from their party saying that you're not doing what we want in case of Frantic Kofa with CDC? How long before Frantic Kofa and CDC have a day in the court, so to speak?
To analyze Liberian politics like we're analyzing more structural political system will be a flaw. How many times have people not be shown by the CDC for nomination, they went and won, and CDC went big and come back? Papa Flomo is an example. So do these people really listen to their parties? No, they don't. If they really understand the politics of their constituencies, they don't have to listen to their political parties. There's a lot of examples out there for those. But let me say this. What I'm going to be watching, I think the question I want to answer is a parallel to that. What I'm going to be watching for is what happens when the rubber meet the road between the ambitions of the Senate Pro Temp, Madam Kanga, and the Speaker of the House, Mr. Jonathan, Mr. Kofa. Because these two people, seems to me, I could be wrong, want to be president.
Including the vice president.
Thank you. And so there's going to come a time where somebody's going to want to show that I can stand. And that is where the statesmanship of Joseph Nyuma Boaka and his team will be tested. How do you control people and convince them that even though they have ambition for the presidency, it is still within their advantage to work with you, the sitting president, that it will benefit them, especially so for Senator, Speaker of the House, knowing that he's not from the Boaka camp, right? Because for Madakanga, it's a little easier. You would think, okay, between me and the sitting vice president, he could make a choice between us. But the speaker comes outside. So I'm going to be sitting watching the political maturity of the vice president, the Speaker of the House, the president pro tem, on how they all come together and work, knowing that they all have ambition to contest against each other come 2029. For me, that's what I'm going to be watching. But look, let me tell you something. When you talked about maybe the president's trying to do a bait and switch, don't look here, smokes and mirrors as we do in Vegas, right? Magicians. Don't look here, look on the other side. You tell it when you win, tell it when you go by, and they put it this way, and you don't look the other side. I don't think this would have been done in such a speed with a war crimes code, knowing the opposition to it. This has been something that's been running. But let me tell you this: I have to give credit to the presidential, the Ministry of State for Presidential Affairs, and the presidential press secretary. The way to organize the president's lead into the 100 days. Remember one of the things the president said was that in the first 100 days, no cars will be stuck. People were taking pictures from 5 years ago, putting it on city mail. What did he do? Before he could give a speech about 100 days, he went on the road.
Mm-hmm.
They took him on the road.
I put in the chat room.
Where you can see the back of his car. He didn't get airlifted. He didn't go through Sierra Leone. He didn't go anywhere. You can see the dust at the back of his car, and he stops in the western cluster, and he talked to the people. And they talked about Liberian construction firms that got contracts to do the roads. And he's telling them that the foreigners come here and they take loans. They don't do anything different than you, and they do this work. If you can do this work just as much as them, we have to believe in you to give you the contracts. And those are Liberian contractors. So here's the PR again. We are empowering Liberians. Your government didn't do it. We're giving it to people. And when we go on the road to show that in 100 days, no car, we're still going to, we will drive in an area where people will see that there are no cars stuck along the way. And in that process, here's the thing the president did that was very smart. When they brought that chair lady for the community, I don't know if you watched it.
Yeah.
And her name is Kula. And the president pivoted to, so why didn't they have food stuff on the road for them to buy? And the lady said, oh, we're going to do market day. He said, okay, fine. I was driving here. I saw children along the road. We got to talk about the safety of the children. We got to look at how we move schools back, how to protect school campuses, because everywhere along the road, as I'm driving, as I'm touring, I look along the road and I see things. The president packed a lot of messages into that. That PR was 100% on board. And then he preluded that he was going to get rid of the
Western cluster.
Right. There. Before he made a major announcement. And then he rose in with the signing of the War Crimes Court. That is PR 100% done with tact. There was no leaks. We didn't hear about it before time. It happened. And so for me, yes, there are places I'm going to criticize the government. You and I have been talking about it, especially with this list that keep coming up where, they say this list supersedes the other list that came up before. I said that is crazy. We shouldn't be doing that. We should have a list and go with the list. But to be very frank, if the president had not done that trip, if the president had not gotten rid of, had not said you're going to get rid of Western Cluster, if the president had not put the War and Economic Crime Code up, there will be a lot of tabata today going on about what he hasn't done, how he's been a failure. But this internet is silent because
baby. Terry, thank you. Let's go to Terry. So Terry, do I still have echo coming in?
You clear, except you hearing it, but we not hearing.
I think your villagers in total they playing with your.
Excuse me, guys. Excuse me, just 1 minute. Alfonso, inke Nathaniel, okay. Monsa Modia de ni gokli. Ansiamo lo pina imleara so tobi pinalo. Is it quite in 1 year wrong can go?
The man speaking for his own bujo.
But you understand what he said?
I understand nothing.
Oh, okay.
Completely.
He said not talking no tabata. He said not talking no tabata.
All right, that's from the MRT here to them. No, thank you. Let's come to you. We got to pull point anything from time to time. But let's come to you, Terry. Let me get you to politically analyze this thing as well. As Sissy correctly stated here, who do you think, with all the smartness of the president Bakai, and it seemed to me that most of these want to be president, they are hanging, all of them, including the vice president, are hanging on the coattail of this president. So let's go to 3 of them. Who do you think benefit the most? All of these, I know because what's his name? Jeremiah Cohen is he's part of the system, so maybe he has an advantage. But with Flanty Kofa being an opposition and working directly and in sync with the president agenda so far, Madam Youngly, who is also in a different party but much more closer to Unity Party anyway, but in line with everything that President Baka is doing so far, who do you think politically benefit come 2029? Let's look into your political bags here a minute and tell us who you think going to benefit. But you can speak of something else if you want, please.
Well, I think that's a very, very smart question, but also seems to be easy. If President Boga does succeed, Jeremiah Kuhn emerged to be victorious because Ladawa, like what Sissy said, Sissy said it clearly. How will Fonati Kofa put a bone in President Bokka's throat if he wants to be president. You know, so he said clearly that he's waiting to see how he's going to turn the tide. You know, because he have to if he want to be president. You have to you have to obstruct the president's agenda to present something that will present you to the people. All right. So you can't fall in line continuously. You got to do something different. You got to obstruct. You got to be political and all of that. So if President Bokka's agenda go through successfully in most areas, Jeremiah Kun emerge victorious. And you must also understand, Jeremiah Kun right now is sitting very pretty with the backing of a whole county, vote-rich county like Nima County sitting by him. These few days, Jeremiah Kun presented a candidate that won over Prince Johnson in Nima County. So Jeremiah Kun alone is sitting pretty already. So what we need to look at now, Fonati Kofa needs to hustle the entire Southeast belt as the way President we are hustle it. Then we can begin to talk. When we can see that Fonati Kofa can do that, that means he got to get out of the box of the CDC politics and begin to move in the trajectory of development that will bring some level of sanity to that particular part of Liberia that will cause the Southeastern to say, you know what, if President Weah is not going, I think this man is the guy. On the other hand, with Yombli Kanga Lawrence, I only see Yombli Kanga Lawrence aligning herself, seeking to align herself with Jeremiah Kun as a running mate. That's the only way she can become victorious. But if she wants to go as president, first of all, she don't even have a political party. Musa Belete is not ready to settle. From what I've been listening, Musa Belete is not ready to settle with Yombli Kanga Lawrence in a way she will want things to go for her to boost her political career. So the only option for her is a vice president position going along with Vice President Jeremiah Kun. Other than that, and Fonati Kofa, if Yombli liaise with VP Jeremiah Kun, and given the fact that President Bokka is able to lift the war and economic crime course successfully, I don't see the obstacle of Jeremiah Kun becoming the next president of Liberia. I could be wrong.
Thank you. Thank you. Again, folks, Samson to Liberian Public Radio, my guests here, panelists, colleagues here, all here tonight. Jerry Bacon is here, Cecil Goyer is here, Terry Collins is here, three of the best in this business. Mr. Joyce, as you can see, Mr. Amos Joyce is not here, he's scared. Mr. Dr. Marley Jones is not here, he's scared. And your godfather, he's also is not here, he's scared because the liberal is in charge and they know that. So they're not going to come here with their tabata and all that kind of. Amos Joyce is watching.
I see Breakable.
Yeah, Breakable watching. Breakable
alcohol today. They break their bar.
They got nothing. They always like to put their foot in their mouth. But let me go to Jerry. We'll soon be opening the line here. Let me go to Jerry. I know we're late coming on air, but let me go to Jerry. Jerry, let me ask you this though. With all of these good things that is happening on President Bokka, yes, still we are. Maybe you guys have, but I have not seen any kinds of what is this? Some sort of agenda. Yeah, I see. The Unity Party. He ready? But Jerry, on a very serious note, with all of these good things that is happening on President Bokka Unity Party, but I am yet to see a blueprint how they're going to do this thing for the next 6 years. Right. What are the roadmap? Or they're just going to pick and choose what Liberian gravitating towards, test the wind. Oh, okay, this one we can put it up there. Liberian will like it. Is that how they're going to do it, or should we expect to see some sort of a roadmap very shortly, Jerry?
Well, let me say this. I'll come to your question in detail, but I will try to put up some ingredient in there. See, history is important. If you know history, it's a reflection to know where you are going. Let's look at 1986 when Ronald Reagan came to power. Who had one of the more liberal, right next door to me, Mr. O'Neill. He was the speaker then. If you can recall, or maybe you might not recall. But O'Neill worked with Ronald Reagan, and they got more done.
You're talking about Tip O'Neill, right?
Yeah, Tip O'Neill from Massachusetts.
Tip O'Neill.
Tip O'Neill. Tip O'Neill and Ronald Reagan worked together, and they got a lot accomplished. So the history is that. So if you read, look, the speaker, he can work with Mr. Boakai, and they get more done. It probably, I'm not saying so. And maybe 2029, you didn't even have to run. If he decides to run, he can still maintain his speakership because he will work with the president. But here's the interesting part I want you to look at. Madam, the senator from Grand Bassa County, the Senator Pro, she was a campaign chairperson, chair lady for the Unity Party. And so she's standing a pretty good chance. But the question is, let's look at the dynamic of politics. Geographically. Nima County, Grand Bassa, Bon County. Then you come to Magibi. Let's look at the Quatra. The Quatra from the Atlantic Ocean and go into the hinterland. From Monserrato, you got Bassa, Buchanan, let me just say Buchanan, Grand Bassa, they speak the Bassa. Riverside, they speak the Bassa. When you come to part of Nima County, they speak the Bassa. So, like my brother said, so Jeremiah Kuhn, he just waiting, looking up to Mr. Wakai. And so the Jeremiah Kuhn, but in politics, it's a sport. It's just another contact sport. Until that final whistle, you never know what's going to happen from now. Today, like right now, we are giving Wakai a good grade for what he had done for the past 90 days. But maybe tomorrow, we don't even know what's going to happen. But let me say this: when you talk about the blueprint of Mr. Wakai, if you listen to his 30-day speech, something he said, the blueprint he said will be out within 6 months. 6 months he will produce in detail. He said 6 months or maybe within that time frame. But this is what he said. The University of Liberia, they will be able to feed themselves, especially in the agricultural sector. The University of Liberia will be able to feed themselves. Hospital, will improve the hospital and will supply them what they need in the hospital. Now, he said in the speech, now we're going to go digital. Now we'll have digital internet system that will be in 4 different countries, which has never been happening before. So we'll have digital system in Liberia within the 4 countries. But he did not tell which are the 4 countries in his speech. Then he talked about drugs. About 120 people who have been rehabilitated, for the past 100 days. These are the points I was doing. Then he talking about road network projects. One of the things he said that caught my my attention was in our budget. When it comes to the road infrastructure, we never have maintenance budget in maintaining the road. We just say there will be money allocated for maintaining of the roads that will be constructed. Okay. All right. So these are things that he talked about in his speech. Okay. Then he talk about the student, how you call it, the student in the rear payment wire or the wire fee. They inherited millions of dollars. They are paid $6 million in their rear, and they still have some more money.
Unbreakable. What do you think about that one?
Okay. Then you talk about RT. Okay, the RT, it will be in 7 counties. We'll have seven counties already. Okay, so these are the things he said he want to do within that time. So this thing will be spreading to the federal county. So these are, but my question is, with all these RT and things, it is time for we, the Liberian, to be a stockholder rather than people from different countries to be the provider. It's about time that we Liberians step out to the plate. Because if we have the company that are coming to Liberia, or the company that are going to the RT company, the digital and all these things, Liberian people should be, so we would benefit. There was an analysis was done after, let me just quickly say this. When Madam Johnson was leaving office, the UMIL, I think the UMIL, when they left Liberia, there was a vacuum. There was, in fact, that's some of the things that really affected our economy. When Madam Selin left, all those are the investors that were people that were in the country that were employing our people. When all of them left, when UMIL left, there was a vacuum in our system. So it is about time, Mr. Boka is saying, look, it is a time for Liberian to be an entrepreneur. So if we are entrepreneur with high issues, if there's a epidemic break out again, the people will not leave. When they leave, they will always be Liberian here. So these are the issues that he's focusing on right now. So the blueprint is coming up. If you go listen to his speech, the 90-day speech. So these are some of the things he outlined.
Thank you. Let me go to Cece as well. Cece, and this one is very quick and easy, I would say. If you were advising these people, what are some of the things you would say to them for them to be able to maintain this type of momentum, so to speak? Because it seems like the wind is on their back right now. Or as Jerry said, we don't know what will happen tomorrow type deal, or is there of a mechanism that they can use somehow, some electrical wire or something, since you're an electrical engineer, that will continue to have this current flowing to them and have the wind on their back for them to shine as much as they've been shining the last days. What are some of the advices, if you have the opportunity, that you were given for them to maintain this momentum, so to speak?
Well, they should be careful with the wirings. Make sure that there are not short circuits and that there are not voltage drops and that they're not overloading the capacity of the generator. Like
I walk right into that one. I should know better.
You said you set up.
Jesus Christ.
But honestly, on a serious note, I think the government should always be prepared for mistakes and blunders. What they cannot afford is to be caught unprepared to respond to mistakes and blunders. You cannot be prepared for every mistake and every blunder individually, but you can have a group and have a response for a group of, we categorize mistakes and have canned responses available and ready. I think the George Weah government benefited a lot from the public willing to wait and see. This government does not have that luxury. If there's a blunder today and you allow it to sit 2 days, it takes a wing of its own. And so they have to be ready for that. And for me, though, if I were advising them, that's what I would say. Like, for example, you are the Minister of Education. What is the response plan you got for if WIET test scores achievement drop below the George Weah error? That's something you plan for. If it happens, you have a rolled out, stuff that you got a toolbox ready to run to. Right? What happens if people start taking pictures of leaking buildings and teachers are on strike for not getting paid? Who do you run to? Right? So and we can even take that to the healthcare health sector. You have to have canned responses ready. Liberian people don't have the time to wait and for you to take 3 days to respond to us. We give all that goodwill to the George Weah-led administration. But also, I think one of the great things that they're doing is they're not looking backwards too much, but they're giving the Liberian people an analysis. And I want my man Breakable and hit. In order for me to tell you you're doing well, I must know where you came from.
Right.
When they say, "Oh, how your child doing integrity? Oh, I'm about doing better this year," that means we assume that you think we know that you were not doing better last year. and so for the president to talk about paying out $3 million plus of the WIEC fees that were owed, that was owed to the West African Examination Council, tells us that people were running governance like Boy Scout. They say we pay WIEC fees, but they don't pull it in budget, or it's in budget and it's leaking somewhere. I think my only one flaw I'm seeing right now with the president, especially when it comes to the education sector, is that yes, it's okay to pay arrears like he's doing for scholarships and everything. But the issue of the payment of WIEC tuition, like the president spoke about in his state of the nation, was going to be something he was going to want to continue. This has to be something he gets passed into law. It cannot be something that will continue from president to president based on the whims and the caprices of the president. It has to be codified into law. So just like he's sending to the legislature this bill on the Tourism Act and the local government and stuff, you should add in there, codify the payment of WIEC fees, and so that coming governments know that it is a responsibility. It is not something a president decides to do or not do. That way you know that you have a sustained framework to pay that. And so for me, if I were advising them, like you brought the electrical engineering piece out, I said be mindful, make sure there are not short circuits, because our Liberian people are good at not buying the current directly from LEC, but they will hook things for the other person to red line, to the other person to red line, to the person to red line before you go.
So then let me push you on this here. Just give me 1 second of your time, if you don't mind. And that is, you're saying that you don't want them to overload this circuit so we don't blow up, but yet on the other hand, you're saying that they should be able to codify some activities, and it becomes, in a sense, become permanent activities on the part of next government or what have you. I did not. If you do that, are you not suggesting that they will overload?
No, what I'm saying is that if you're running taco generator in Liberia, let me just give this now. Or people buy, usually now we buy current, which is a sad thing. It's a whole different conversation. Before the war, we were buying power. Now we buy amps. We're buying current. A whole different conversation for a different day.
Yeah.
Right? Because remember when the people used to read the meter, you were buying power.
Power.
We were buying power. But that's a whole different thing. So when you buy your current in amps, there are certain electrical appliances you cannot use.
Yes.
The whole light will go off. And if it's a late cheap taco generator, will blow up. So what we're saying is that we have the taco generator sitting down on the side. For just in case there's dry season and the water going low amount coffee, and we get enough electricity, we can plug our taco generator in. We are not saying that you plug all of your appliances in. What we are saying that there will come times where current will go. And we need those Chinese light. What the Chinese can say to real market, I don't need anything. You put it on, you go back, you burn it. They need those Chinese light for when current goes.
When current goes.
When we lived in Liberia, a lot of our people knew where the matches were, where the candle was. Then you get EDC go, we know where to find it. So I'm telling the Burger government to know where the matches are, where the charcoal lantern is. And you know that always support it oil in the plate, and you roll it on your plate, all your nose get. We know where all those things are laying. So that when current goes, they know where to find the matches, where to find the lanterns, where to find the Chinese light, so that the people are not sitting in dark for a long time. I mean, imagine we used to be eating JBC. You eating your JBC.
No light.
Current go. You're eating in darkness.
We get this,
We have to get light to look in the food. So we need to make sure we got matches laying somewhere that people can just strike and look in the food. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that they bring those things into government. I'm saying that every responsible administration always have a plan, a crisis management plan. And that's why I'm telling you, they should have a PR crisis management plan.
Thank you. Terry, before I come to you, we still got some time. Let me tell you this. Let me just say this story here. This is, I don't know if it really happened, but that used to frighten me when I was little. The guy and his wife went on a farm, and they came back late in the evening, and she decided to pound some cassava leaf. So in the process of, cassava leaf, you break the cassava branch, and you peel the leaf and pile them together and put in the mud and with a pencil, you pound them. So apparently, when she picked that bunch up, 1,000 legs came along with it. She did it, but she didn't pound the 1,000 leg correctly. So she went, but there was no light now. At this time, it was dark. So she cooked. And the guy started eating. He said, the crawfish you got.
That's a good one.
I'm almost passing out, folks. And he said, the crawfish you got in the soup tonight is sweet.
Wow.
So when my mom comes home and it's dark, anything she cook, I will not eat. I'll wait until early in the morning. Yeah, that used to frighten me a lot.
You want eat centipede or millipede? That one that ran crawfish.
Yeah. So, but let me come to you, Terry. Now that I put some fun into the thing here, let me come to you. Discussing fun, but it's fun anyhow. But let me come to you. I hope I didn't turn people off of cassava leaf and crawfish. Now, please.
That's all right.
That's still
Oh
good
no,
to eat.
that one in cassava leaf would be worse.
Yeah. But let me come to you, Terry. Sissy made a salient point here and point out some facts that these people should be on top of their game. They should be able to respond, not wait till church time, Sunday to respond. So if that statement is to hold, how much you, Terry, would put on transparency? If the people blunder, do they admit their blunder? Do they admit that they have made a mistake? Or they don't admit but explain? Which side will you go on, Terry? Will you explain or you will admit, then you explain? Because they're two different things.
Yeah.
So which one, how will you deal with that transparency issue if you were involved?
Well, it depends. This kind of society, I would not do both. Liberia is a political society. And the kind of society you're in, there are certain acts that goes on. You cannot even explain, neither can you admit. Because you will be doing a political damage. But there is something say that you can do, which we call damage control. Damage control. You can do damage control. There's a damage control. Because you see, like most people say Liberia is divided politically and all of that. I really don't want to agree with that. I think what is happening in Liberia is, like I was sitting there yesterday and something came to me, is that President Boyka took over a people that are desperate for change. And what Sese said is what they need to be mindful of to be ready to have people to do damage control for them. Because the people you took over, they got rid of, they stopped President Weah from going to his second term. President Weah was the love of the Liberian people. Liberian people love soccer. And what President Weah did made him popular. Many Liberians love President Weah. They've been wanting him to be president ever since. And when he became president with all the bad things that went on, they still love him. For them to choose JMB over President Weah, to cut President Weah from having an opportunity to go additional 6 years, it took a lot of effort. And this means that it took a desperate people that are desperate for change. These people are desperate for change. So you have to be very careful with these kind of people. You cannot allow little information to linger in the public for long without doing damage control. And that damage control, there are certain things when it happens, you cannot fully admit to say, oh yeah, you know what? Or there were 800,000, but we took 100,000, and that's what Samuel Tua used to do. We took 100,000, we put it on the side, and then we diverted the other money to put it on the side. You cannot be doing that. You got to have a perfect team that will do damage control. The explanation you're talking about, I don't know in what term you're trying to do, but Liberians are not good at explaining details to give concrete details information by breaking down and analyzing how much you spend on so and so and so and so, and what are the balances and what you put back into government coffers. Liberians are not good at explaining that. So what they can do is that it always had, like before, under Madam Shirley, there were breakdown. You know, the budget, everything was being explained in the budget. So what you can do, you can have propagandists that can do for you damage control, because the political setting we're in, Liberians right now are desperate for change. Any major mistake this government makes, the opposition will capitalize on it and they will use it against JMB government to bring it down. And that is just what politics is.
Thank you. Again, folks, the number is out there. If you care to give us a call, please do so. Let
me make a quick correction, because we're on LPR and, you know, we leave from here and people will write comments here and we don't respond to them. Sometimes they make it look like they're saying the truth. So my brother who's responding, because I talk about the West African Examination Council and Mr. Balcom talk about that, about he's trying to parse hairs. So if you go on eMansion website and you read the president's speech, I'm not going to read the entire thing. I'm just going to look on the education, which is on page 4 or 5. And on the education, it starts with, additionally, my administration inherited a debt of nearly 6 million of unpaid fees to the West African Examination Council for WAST sat by our students. So it is not the dues, it is the fees for the WAST examination sat by the students. So sometimes you just check it. So you can be in your politics, you want to defend your own elephant. Go look at it before you come back.
Okay, thank you. Let me
about the $6 million. Okay, yeah.
Jerry, let's start. Let's do the call, and then we'll come to you after the call. Then you can...
Go ahead, no problem.
Okay. And guess who's the first person to call here tonight? Exactly. Breakable, go ahead. What's on your mind?
The Holy Trinity.
Breakable, can you hear me? Something going on.
Breakable using Kung Fu.
Yeah.
You're using the Kung Fu.
Breakable, are you there?
Yeah, I read it.
Okay, I don't know what's going on, but go ahead. What's on your mind?
The new phone CDC using.
A lot of things on my mind. Lot of things on my mind.
But you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful, Mr. So. Hold on now. Be careful, Mr. So is not here, and I got Chinese phone, so the battery could die.
Make it brief. Go ahead.
I get long charger here that I can from here to my house to your house. I can reach there.
Okay,
Look,
go ahead.
Terry. You are looking. You are sounding so good. They
I press your client.
Listen. I don't know why you guys classify the war crime code to be like a victory for the Liberian people. If you saw the signing of the war crime code, how many Liberians you see that's saying there? The amount of people you see that's saying that our habit, our should be showing hand off, that were the colorful people. That colorful people, they weren't there. The people that were shaking the president's hand, happy, in a happy mood. Was there a Liberian people out there? When you scare somebody like that, they put pressure on the back to sign something that the Liberian people want, they think that's acceptable there. Listen, let me tell you something if you don't know. Only the war crime code will make President Baga to go for second round. Then you're wasting your time. Because look, when I tell you the hate that will come after even it be approved for, the first of all, you don't read the document. The document does not tell you that the war crime code is established.
Please ask Breakable if you read that document. You might not laugh off. Please ask him.
But then secondly, you gotta. I listened to the president talking about how the wire fee they pay. Did you listen to the wire commission for Liberia that represent Liberia and the wire in Liberia? The man said every wire fee are being paid. There's a I call it a due. A due they pay every year. Every country that taking part in the wire pay the due. And those due, these are requirements that the government not pay. You cannot talk about somebody taking wires. They use not pay the wire fee, the water wire. No, they. So those things like you're just made party. The first of all, look, you gotta roll that bank that they put Mr. So, stop this thing. When I'm driving around in Washington DC, I be laughing. You see Dawson Road, $22 million on Dawson Road. How will you people stand at this? $22 million on Dawson Road. They celebrating this thing. You said, Mr. So, you're saying no, Liberia, not looking at America here. I listen to Thomas, America Dawson Road, America Dawson Road is pliable. Can you compare Africa with America? The country got rain on rain falling. It will reach to the foot there to the extent that you will not even see the road when you're walking on it. The forest keep water. Not yet. There is no forest there. Can you compare it with the ground and the ground here? There's two differences.
Okay.
You got a $22 million spending on road. They call it money.
Okay.
Then you could build one piece of road, one piece for that 100 days. One piece of road for 2 miles. It could be guaranteed that even though Thursday being all the road they be. And secondly,
so that thirdly.
So can you please educate them on how to build road that doesn't take 100 days?
Let it go. Go ahead.
Listen, if you don't know, whether President Baga win, whether we are win, look, that war crime code issue was settled. It's not 1%. The reason why President Baga push it in is because the paperwork was already in process with the citizen regime. The only thing that hold it up because of election already won.
President, we are told, you see, Brother, I don't want to say it to President, we are told us when he came from abroad at the airport. Did you hear him say he's doing war crime? Why are you coming to come make a story? But your CDC, you're allowed to put your foot in your mouth. Why you can't tell us CDC approved the war crime code when President we are told us differently at the airport? You think we're stupid at that? You think we don't know what we're doing? Man, Brigable, man, my battery dying. My battery dying. Brigable, my battery dying.
Listen, the man that big, give me your element point. If you don't know, we that get information. I tell you it's true.
Ask the man to give us the information now.
He will not give you the information.
But they're asking so we can make sure. Any man say you read the stuff.
Okay, what do you want me to ask him?
He's asking if he read the war crimes code built And the information when you get it, release it to us, so we can get people.
You say if you read the war crime bill and the information that you're making reference to, can you bring it, put it in our chat room?
I'll send to you on my I'll send to you.
100 days.
Yeah. No, let me
Say, but not 100 days.
The reason sorry war crime was smoothly in our laws because it's process only. So don't even pray that. The reason that so look that Fanatic was so making our own man to be like they took it up is because that's how we plan it.
Oh,
few months from now,
oh, you're planning. CDC, there's something else. That's how you're planning.
Well, no, the war for your own failure to come up. Your failure to come up.
Wow.
Join you.
Okay.
Okay. When you start it, then people say, "Oh, you're listening to the government."
Okay.
You started that.
All
Don't give it take it and put. When I go, you will not make us go against Fanatic because no one will do it.
Okay.
So your Fanatic president, Biggie, don't make it to do that.
Okay. Thank you. All right, folks. I think after Breakable, I'm not too sure if we want to take any more call. So let me take the number down because
Mr.
Bagon,
I think
you gotta wait for our man to come for Connecticut.
yeah, no, those people, I see that here. They ain't call yet. But let's leave the number up. Let me go to Baxter. Were you saying something?
yeah, Mr. Soze, Mr. Bagon is in his CDC. Why he wearing CDC office? So I don't know. So yeah.
No.
Yeah, when you get problem, I'm not
I just saw it, Jenna.
Okay, I'll go to the conversation. Look.
Yeah.
I divorced long time ago. I think that whole marriage, I didn't even worry about it. But anyway,
Jerry, go ahead. You want to respond to everything that we've been talking about because we're going to be closing our Saturday.
So when Breakable then come here, they don't get a far together. Let's be realistic. You know, I was ripping apart. I come in ripping apart. Maybe he don't understand. Maybe he knows the geography in America. Maybe he knows the geography. I know we stay in, but anyway, let me put it this way. You talk about.
Did you say Atlanta?
Okay. No, I think he said Washington D.C.
Okay, Washington D.C. Fine. Let's look at Washington. Let's see in the East Coast. Let me deal with the East Coast. You talk about the forest. New Hampshire. New Hampshire got one of the bigger forests. Go to New Hampshire. New Hampshire. Got New Hampshire. Part of Massachusetts got forest. So you can tell me, say, oh, there's forest in Liberia when it rains, people can see it. Who said we got forest here? Let's go to the Midwest. Look at Oregon. Look at Washington State. Go there. See, these are the people who produce more how you call it? Or plant. So probably
Yeah. I was just in one of the area, Eureka area.
So probably he know own history in America. So you tell them about Liberia people or the forest. The people got forest in this country. In fact, you go to New Hampshire. You go in some of the forest there, you scare, you say, what are you in we or you in Grand Gide? Yeah? So what it is. But anyway.
Jared, before you say something, let me let Breakable and the like know about, because now they're comparing Dusty Road in America to that of Dusty Road in America.
And the power of blessing people there today, the one can't start splitting hell.
Right. The problem they have is that they don't understand. You will not have a Dusty Road you have in Liberia as being part of a county road, state road, or federal road. You don't have that. The county road that you will see that will produce dust, not like the kind of dust you have over there. What they do, they don't use asphalt. They call what they call chip and seal. They clean the road, put the binder, okay, put the binder down, and put a bunch of rocks on it. Now, the rock does not stop the dust, but the dust is not the kinds of dust you have in Liberia. In this country, if it's a county road, people live on that corridor. If their house, they go clean the windshield, the window, and they see a lot of dust, they're coming straight to the county. So
If you have your own driveway, and say those rich people that live way east side from the road, and they have their own, you can have a dusty road, okay? But the county road, the state road, the federal road that are numbered, County Road 24, County Road 50. Even in Minnesota, when you're driving to a county in the city, of course, they're paved. But if you go outside of Minnesota and you see the county road, if they don't have a pavement on it, they have chip and seal. So they shouldn't compare those road, those what they call dusty road in America to that of dusty road in Liberia. But that's something we'll talk about.
But even in places like Iowa and Minnesota, like behind my house here, going down this way, like towards what's the state, North Dakota, there are farmers who have their roads there, right? Those FM, those farm to market roads, yes, the idea that they took out of here. So you have those farm to market roads, but breakable there. I'm not even going to try to respond to him. I don't know where back on one way.
But Sissy, those farm to market roads that belong to the farmers.
The way you're comparing, and he doesn't understand the difference.
Thank you. So,
right, but let me say this. Sister, those farm to market road that you're talking about that belongs to those farmers. What they do is this: they after they finish whatever they have to do is turn over to the county, and the county maintain those roads.
That's good.
Yes, but the condition the county put on there is this: we're maintaining this road, and this is the kinds of weight of truck that we have to use this road. Anything more than that, the road is damaged and it's come from heavy duty, the farmer gonna have to repair that himself. So those are the kinds of conditions and agreement that usually come about. Sometimes the federal government say, no, we're not putting any money in here because the farmer is benefiting from this thing here immensely. Let him pay. And then they will come to the farmer. And that's why you will see some of the roads are so bad because the farmer will say, I'm not doing it. I don't have that kind of money. And then the city will say, okay, or the state will say, okay, or the county will say, okay, we'll fix it. But we don't have it in the budget right now. Then it takes some time, you know. So but they don't understand those things. Go ahead, Jerry. I don't want to come out here and try to explain all of that stuff.
I just want to educate you so you can come here and fabricate story and stuff like that. But however, you talk about walk around Baka signature. Of course. Look at Obama. Obama have insurance. It become Obama signature in this country. So if the war cranko, war and economic cranko is going to be the signature for Baka, that's it.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay. Let me come to Terry. Terry, give us your closing. I'm sorry we came in late. But I don't know why I'm hearing echo here. But go ahead. But you gotta hurry up, or you know something over there waiting for me. Quick. So you gotta walk.
But today not Friday.
I know. Today Thursday. You got something there?
The Nigerian man introduced that thing to me quick today. So I get testing it. I try to see.
I see why your energy low today.
The reason why I'm rushing you, Terry, the reason why I'm rushing is my granddaughter and my daughter are visiting. I don't want anybody touching up. I hear some noise in the background already. So
yeah. So you see, you know, we have desperate people in Liberia that want change. So these people are not going to settle for. That is why Liberians, right now, everybody hyper in the country. Small news, they're running with it and all of that, you know, and some of the other politician guys, they are making use of the negative. All right, some of these big platforms that we respect a lot, they now have turned into propagandists for the opposition, wherein they're making news from the minor things that they're dragging in and leaving all the bigger things that is being done. And I was very surprised today to listen to the network there, and they were not discussing anything as regarding even the signing of this particular war and economic crime code, which was a very much welcoming thing. But if you got over thousands of people watching you and listening to you all over the country, you will want to put these things first before you start to discuss the politics or the propaganda of the issue. But they did not do that. They went straight into discussing a lot of negative things because you're trying to present a perception in the people, trying to prey on the desperation of the Liberian people. And I think that is very disheartening because right now, Liberians are desperate for change. Liberians are tired. They are very tired and they want change. And they chose President Boakai because they believe that he's much older. He's not young as President Weah. President Weah was good for them. They love him, but they chose President Boakai. So like you said, the question, I want to rethink it and want to readdress it by saying that there are some issues that President Boakai or cabinet guys, they need to address. They need to come on public radio and clarify by giving, since they always say, data analysis on issues, statistical analysis on breakdown of things when there is a flare of corruption or so. But we also got to be careful to also put into place some mechanism of damage control. We cannot leave damage control out because the politics in Liberia, if we don't know how to damage control certain information, it could flare all into this position that could lead a lot of misinformation that could cause an uprising. Because CDC now is waiting for the least opportunity to prey on the desperation of the people to create an uprising. Look at what they're doing with this thing. The fire. They're using the fire now as a means to demonstrate politics. Oh, President Boakai bringing the fire, all these kind of things. And lastly, congratulations to Lofa County for supporting Lofa County in this particular soccer tournament. So congratulations to Lofa County. I pray that they win the tournament. Yeah.
God can't sleep. Nima County won with Grand Jida Soccer and Tabata and
I tell you, that cheating.
God can't sleep.
Yeah, they cheated.
I answered that one. I said God can't sleep. But thank you, Terry. Thank you very much. Let me go to Sese and then Jerry can take us home. Sese, go ahead, give us your closing.
The Wurugizi Mountain Lions. Yes, I would do it, but I
you got lion up there, or you got how do you call it?
We used to have mountain lions, but now we got tigers and stuff.
You got tigers in that place?
Yeah, tigers up there, yeah. So here's my thing on the sports side. If Lofa County win, it takes away from the actual effort of the team. It's going to be politicized.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm actually
of course they cheated because President Baga paid people.
Yeah,
he's the president.
I'm hoping another county wins so that that county can enjoy.
Well, that be stream. CDC government Grand Crew won the championship, so that's what it is.
Yeah. So because truthfully, these athletes, they're playing very well. They're playing
yes.
But you know how people can
these kids are playing real good ball now.
That's just me inside, hoping that Lofa made it to the championship. Let another county win it, and we move on. We do something different. But look, we are watching. We will come here and celebrate where there are reasons to celebrate. We will chastise whenever there are reasons to chastise. I think, and to Terry's point, to the larger point Terry's trying to make, Pastor Gerald and I were just Collins and I were having this conversation yesterday about the proliferation of media places in Liberia and the percentage of those media places that are independent or owned by political actors or that they themselves are political actors. And so it becomes very difficult for the consumer, become a consumer in Liberia, to differentiate between what is propaganda and what is actual credible news.
Right.
And a lot of these platforms mix them up, right? Because there should be a place for punditry, where pundits come and they talk their political tabata and they go away, right? And there should be a place for unbiased, unfiltered, unadulterated news. Sadly, a lot of these pundits have become newscasters, and a lot of newscasters have become pundits. And so it is really difficult to tell which is what. Therefore, they've muddied their responsibility to the public. Because the political pundits have no moral responsibility to the public. You come to talk your political thing and you go, right? And so I think that is where, and I keep saying, platforms like ours, it will serve us well to be able to make sure that we serve as the counterweight, as an alternative to those places where folks can come. Yes, we'll be in our feelings. We all support the side, but we can support the side with data. And we can allow, our men in Breakable and come to the Tabata and go see it, and we stay cleaning up for Liberian post so that they're not consuming political dirt and they start downloading diarrhea. I heard that today when somebody said you're downloading diarrhea. So we don't want our people to download intellectual diarrhea from people feeding them political dirt. Yeah,
But
thank you.
Let me ask you this. I was in Minnesota, and the Liberians that I saw, there's so many Liberians. Why is it Liberians are not able to control that section of Minnesota politics?
This would be a full 4-month series of shows to diagnose.
Okay, we'll leave it there. We'll leave it there. Because there's so many.
On a broader note, we allow politics from back home, Liberian politics, to seep into politics here.
Wow.
Because the way we do politics from back home is not about a responsible disagreement or a healthy disagreement. We all saw that a sedition and a unitary party person will jump into a fight. We saw the violence in Liberia from all sides, right? Well, except for LPP, they were chunking over rock. We take a broom, we put a broom up, we run away. But beyond that, people hold animosity against one another simply because of the political ideology that they support. And so that seeps into the politics here in Minnesota. You will find that a Liberian is running for office, and Henry Costa will come to support that Liberian. And then Michael Gilman, at the time when he had a talk show, will come to support the non-Liberian simply because he sees the Liberian as an opposition figure. And it trickles down to a lot of our people here. It also even goes down to tribal. It becomes tribal. So that is the reason we don't hold power in Minnesota. We lost. We had a city mayor in Brooklyn Center at the peak of our political power. We had a city mayor in Brooklyn Center. We had a city councilman in Brooklyn Park, and the councilman was running to be mayor. So we have both Brooklyn Park and Brooklyn Center, where the most Liberians live per capita. We had 2 Liberians running to be on the city council in Brooklyn Center, me, and another very strong organizer, a young lady called Afrida Daniels. And it is just, it's toxic. Can you imagine? Let me just end with this. Imagine me. I ran for school board. Me, an educator, a teacher, a Liberian educator. I ran for school board for Osceola, where the most Liberians go to school. I couldn't get my people to come out and vote. I had the most vote coming from white side than the side where people live. So it is a complex thing. It is a very complex thing. And I don't know who will bring us together. I don't know where we go to have that conversation to understand that we can disagree on Liberia and agree on here. I don't know who has that power, who has the authority. Some of us,
wow.
I think it's young people that Collins then have to come in and do that and do their work because some of us we're getting tired of that. So.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe some.
I mean, you more charismatic than me.
I think Liberian politicians from Liberia need to step into this and put the people together.
I think something needs to change.
Yeah, because if we're together, that Minnesota area, if we really if they're together, they can really help the country of Liberia easily, because they are very smart and they are politically savvy, and so if you have them in your back pocket, You can come here as a political leader in Liberia, come here knowing full well the kinds of people you have from Minnesota. They can lead you to the White House. They can lead you to some of the government agency to help you.
But just real quick, we have Liberians here who've worked on major campaigns that won. I'm thinking about my sister, Deconti Kofa Sawyer, who was instrumental in leading Representative Dean Phillips' campaign to flip a Republican seat to a Democratic seat. That's a Liberian lady, right?
Yeah.
We've had other Liberians here that have worked on other campaigns that have won, that work on a governor level on campaigns for the governor to win. So we have people who have the ability. It is just to get our people to.
Okay. All right. Let's go to Jerry. Jerry, take us home, please. Thank you for your patience. We appreciate it.
No, look, it's interesting. Look, what I want to say tonight is, look, we have to get out of our comfort zone. It is time for us to be patriotic to our birth country. And being able to do it, we need a lot of education. Look, I'm not here to ostracize any ethnic group or thing, but look at our foundation of Liberia. Look at our genesis. And it is still affecting us today how Liberians will behave until the new generation. Some of we have to start thinking about Liberia. But look, let me put it this way. I'll just say this. There are three Liberians. The country, the country conquer, and the conquer. The three people have not gotten together, and we are not together up to this time. The country. Who are the country? That would take another whole show for us to do it. The country conquer. And
that Baza and Pere people.
So that will be my closing. So I mean, something for those that are listening to us tonight, please. I want you to think about the three people that we have in Liberia. The three groups. Think about it.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. We will be here again. Mr. Soul will be on tomorrow. And hopefully, but there's no hopefully. The three amigos going to show. Imojoy will show. Mali will show, and Mali will claim that he's a co-host. And they are in charge. And then I was soaked in tomorrow as well. But on a very serious note, thank you, Jerry Baker. Thank you, Sissy. Thank you, Terry. We appreciate all of you tonight again. It's a wonderful, wonderful show. We'll say thank you and say good night to all of you. Okay. Okay. Again, folks, Samson to Labro Pabrito. I want to thank all of you again tonight for being here and sharing this video. Many of you that made a comment, we appreciate it. Jackson, Coley, of course, Principal. Many of you that wrote your comment here tonight. Conti, thank you very much. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you. We see your comment. Because of you, we are here. We say thank God for that. And we will continue to make sure all of us come into these things, that we do the best we can. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing to have you all here. Again, this is Samson Toll, Liberian Public Radio, and I want to thank all of you for tuning in tonight to Liberian Public Radio. Good night to all. It's been a wonderful, wonderful evening. Let's meet again on Mr. Soul Show tomorrow, and let's have a wonderful, wonderful time. Please don't forget to please continue to pray for one another. Let us continue to pray for one another. With that said, I will say good night to all of you. Good night, folks.
Magamia what Lana Yaka against the Kawa, okay, the Sugu to a boy, how, my man, good okay, the Sugu. No matter where you were so this is okay, the Sugu to a boy, how, okay, the Sugu. Tomorrow, morning, you don't know where you will go, the boy. Mawe koya mohiti wangure toke wando kombeke idu. Mawe soye sikawela tu. Yekwe mote wanu wagaragara mui. Nusoe ikasu. Woplaki ya mui. Nyaba waka mao. Hawe soye sikawela. Hawa nasu wa yetu jaugu. Mao ne wabili wagu. Zo skira wabili wagu. Mawe nyokunyo za mao.